In the previous video I showed how I made face-ups, body mods and customized shoes, so I recommend to watch it first if you haven't yet. In today's video I'm going to dress my creepy little dolls, and I start with creating a basic pattern. Kids usually don't have complicated body shapes, which means that the pattern will have minimal amount of seams. I even decided to get rid of the shoulder seam to not layer fabrics too much in this area, because all of the dolls will have complicated collars on top of it. And I also add some more space in the shoulder area for the joints to have more room. It's important to not forget to adjust the sleeves so they fit well into the armhole. I've got 4 different fabric colors using one fabric dye because each of them got different results depending on the color it had at first. And these nice rustic stains are actually a result of my mistake, because I accidentally ordered dye which is meant to be used in a washing machine, but I had too little amount of fabrics for this and decided to dye it by hand. It seems like the compounds didn't mix properly, and on some spots the color came out deeper than on the others. Which is good, because now I don't need to blush clothes with pastels. In this project I'm going to use some rustic laces from Grandma's stash, which are at least 30 years old and have some stains. Stains of time, I call them. For these dolls I picked just some of them that fit the project the most, but I have so many other cute little things in there, like ribbons, embroidered patches and so on, which we could use later. I started the sewing with making handcuffs for each dress, after choosing what lace or combination of laces each doll will get, because I want them to look good not just as separate pieces, but together as one collection. And because these steps will be almost the same for each of them, it's quicker to do them all at once. When the sleeves were done, I fixed them into the armholes by hand, just to have more control over the process, because usually it is the hardest part of clothes making. For example, this time it took me half an hour to fix each sleeve, which is at least 4 hours in total just to fix sleeves into armholes. Now when the similar steps are done, I'll make each dress separately. First up is a green dress. It has some lace on the skirt and 3 horizontal folds, which I advise to mark on the fabric first. I have some experience in sewing, so I could skip this step. I made the skirt a bit longer on purpose, because I didn't know exactly how much fabric will be going into the folds. To be fair, I was just a bit lazy to count this. I planned to fix snaps on the back to make the dresses undressable, but I changed my mind because the opening I needed to wear the dress with was too large, and I didn't want to have bulky elements on such small dolls. Instead of snaps or velcro, I closed the opening with hand stitches on the doll and fixed the thread with a few horizontal stitches, which I can remove and easily undo the seam if for some reason I will need to undress them. Next up is the collar. I make it based on the pattern I made for the dress. I draw it directly on fabric with a special marker for sewing. The line will disappear in 1 or 2 hours depending on the fabric, without any trace. Then I would like to imitate buttons with a piece of ribbon and little beads. In the whole project, making the collars was my favorite part. I just like working with small pieces and details too much. The last step will be attaching the lace around the collar. When the collar is done, I fix it to the dress with few stitches on the back. Put the head on, shoes, and the first lady is dressed. Doll number 2 has some kind of a stitching at the bottom of her skirt, and I have a similar one on my sewing machine. It took some time to get the right settings, and then I decided to fold the fabric and stitch through 2 layers to make it more stable. Afterwards, I cut all of the excess fabric, iron a fold for the buttons, fix the skirt to the dress, and stitch buttons. Almost the same way as I made Donna's dress. She has the simplest collar out of these 4 dolls, but gets the nicest lace for it. I just gather it on a ribbon and the second dress is done. The third doll has a lace skirt. I don't have a piece that's big enough, so I had to make it out of 2 pieces, but it's not really visible in the end. Then I gather the skirt, fix a belt to the dress, the skirt to the belt, and at the last moment adding one more skirt to make sure the doll's legs won't shine through. I stitch the second skirt to the seam allowance of the belt, again to not have too many layers of fabric on one spot. That's how it looks on the doll. Super cute! Now the collar. I make it almost the same way as for the first doll, just this one has a bit sharper form and no buttons. I think my favorite collar was the first one, but among the dresses in general, it is the third one. And the last outfit is for the boy. The pattern for his pants I made pretty much intuitively, and there are a couple of flaws I still have to work on. When I come up with a legit method of making patterns for pants, I will definitely share it with you later. The boy was the only doll that was planned to have non-undressable clothes, so I just ignored some little flaws with the fitting of the pants and didn't bother to fix the belt to the top. And here is the reason why his clothes were planned to be non-undressable. The boy has a hole on his belly where he hides his weapons, and in this place the fabric will be glued to the doll. And at last comes the collar. Now the boy's outfit is also done. In the next episode you will see making hairstyles and accessories, scissor hands, realistic mini weapons. Thanks for watching and see you next Saturday!